Hello and welcome back to Dhuwanna Intuitive Healing, Chosen Ones, Light Workers, and Starseeds, and Earth Angels. Today we are going to talk about the Pinnacle Cycles, and I would like to take a quick second to say thank you everyone who support the channel, who like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's get into it. So, what are pinnacles in numerology? Okay. First of all, pinnacle cycles are extremely important and very relevant, whether people believe it or not. Okay. The pinnacles are 4 distant periods of time that each of us experience, with the longest cycles being at the beginning and at the end of our lives, with 2 9-year cycles in the middle. So, for instance, I am 44. So I personally would be closer to, like, more or less, I'm going into, like, I'm on the cusp of my 3rd cycle, okay? Because I believe my 3rd cycle starts at 44, if my memory serves me correct, 43 or 44, but it's a shorter cycle than my 4th cycle. And each pinnacle is a time of personal development. The pinnacles can be seen as the degree programs you signed up for during your life, and you get to study that particular subject matter for an extended period of time. Consider them to be like a master plan, compartmentalized into stages of development. So there are the building blocks of your life, and you can take the experience and skills learned throughout each cycle and bridge them to inform the next, if that makes sense. Each pinnacle number represents the energy and lessons that are emphasized during a period of several years. Understanding the elements presented to you during your pinnacle cycles offers invaluable information about the focus and the lessons to be learned during certain chunks of time. It also provides a great format for understanding why certain things happen during those periods of time. So the amazing thing is, when you're going through these lessons and people are trying to be judgy because of the things that you had to experience, if people had a better understanding that it's more to life than what we think it is, people wouldn't be so judgy, and they would be more understanding, okay? Or they would have more compassion and more sympathy for other people, because they would have more compassion, sympathy, and understanding for themselves, right? But knowing your season and knowing where you are and knowing the tools in which you need to work with helps, okay? So with that being said, this is the environment in which you find yourself, offering you a particular trajectory through life. In numerology, pinnacles are sometimes called the 4 pyramids. Collecting your 4 pinnacle cycle numbers is not so much as a predictive tool, although it can be used to map out a clear vision of your past, present, and future, as a tool that offers support and guidance for your life decisions and actions. Everyone goes through 4 pinnacle cycles in their lives, yet we go through them at different times depending on our life path number. When you interpret, or for instance, when I interpret a numerology profile, I always look to see if any of the core numbers in a profile show up in a person's pinnacle cycles. If so, to me, it indicates a period of time where that particular aspect of element of their personality, as defined by the core numbers, is being highlighted for growth, if that makes sense. Alternatively, if someone experiences 1 or more pinnacle cycles that don't match with any of their core numbers, it's like they were visiting a foreign country. for like that period of time, where they had to learn a new language and get used to different customs. This is often a time where a person felt out of place and out of sync with their environment. And when you're calculating your pinnacle cycle, of course, there's more than one numerologist calculator that you can use for your pinnacle cycle numbers. I'll give some examples of like what that looks like, and then you can, go and pull up a pinnacle calculator if you like, so you can calculate it yourself. If anybody want to reach out to me and they would like for me to do a session and I do their pinnacle calculations, I'm okay with that. Let's see. So, for instance, this is the basic formula for finding your 4 pinnacles. Just like the way of calculating your life path number separately and adding the month, day, or the year, you work with the pinnacles the same way. So the first pinnacle, you would literally take the month of your birth and then the date of your birth for the first pinnacle cycle. And then the second pinnacle cycle, you would take the day of your birth, your year of birth. And for the third pinnacle cycle, you would take your first pinnacle plus your second pinnacle, and you would add those two together. And for your fourth pinnacle cycle, you would take the month of birth and then the year of birth. Oh, y'all, my little grandbaby's crying. So for instance, let's see how you can do it in both ways and how the results aren't like necessarily the same. So for instance, if you were born November 22nd, 1985, with the first way of the calculation, you would do the math using November equals number 11 and 1 plus 1 equals 2. And then you would do the day. Day is the 22nd, and it will be 2 plus 2 equals 4, simplified. And then the year would be 1985 equals 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5 equals 23, and you would simplify that to the number 5. Then you calculate it this way as well. So for the first pinnacle cycle, you would take month 2 plus day, which would be the 4, and you would simplify it to the 6. Then for the second pinnacle, you would take the day 4 plus the year, which is 5 because you're using all the simplified numbers, which equals 9. And then you would take the third pinnacle plus the first pinnacle, which is 6. And then the second pinnacle, which is the 9, equals 15. And then you'll add the 1 plus the 5, which is a 6, simplified. And then you would do the fourth pinnacle, which is the second month. The second month. So you do number 2 plus the year, which was simplified to 5, equals 7. So once you do that, then you see the other options. In this way of thinking, you can use the full number without reducing it first. When you have a master number, the master number is not reduced, which was the 22 and the number 11. So it was the November the 11th, which is the 11th month. And then you have the day, which was the 22nd. And then you have the year, which was 1965. So the first pinnacle would be the 11 plus the 22 equals 33. And then since the 33 is a master number, it is not reduced. This is the final number for the first pinnacle. And for the second pinnacle, it would be the day, which was 22, and the year was 1985 equals 2007. And then you would add the 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 7, which is a 9, because really it's just 27, simplified to number 9. Then you have your third pinnacle, which is the first pinnacle, 33, plus the second pinnacle, which is the number 9, equals 42, plus the 4 and the 2 simplified to number 6. And your fourth pinnacle would be the 11th month plus the year, which is 1985. When you add those numbers together, that's 1986. And then you break down the 1, the 9, the 9, the 9, or the 1, 9, 9, and the 6. You add those all together, you simplify that, that's a 25. And then it's 2 plus 5 equals 7. So at this point, now you have the first way of calculating the pinnacles, as I said before. Now you have the first pinnacle, which is the number 6. The second pinnacle is the number 9. The third pinnacle is the number 6. And the fourth pinnacle is the number 7, because you simplify all the numbers that you had for the birthday, the year, and the date for each pinnacle. So once you do that, with the second way of the calculation of the pinnacles we did, you would do the first pinnacle 33 and 6. The second pinnacle was the 9, the third pinnacle was the 6, and the fourth pinnacle was the 7. So the biggest change with doing the calculations the first way or the second way is the minimum when calculating pinnacle cycles, and the difference often reveals a master number. So not a big deal. So at this point, once you get your numbers together, now you are able to reference the pinnacle, okay? And for instance, the first pinnacle is a time for independence and leadership. So you would now go through each pinnacle. Each pinnacle would tell you what you're going to experience per pinnacle. So for instance, pinnacle number 1, it's time for leadership. So at this point, in this point in your life, you're like thinking about and working on developing like independence, self-reliance, individuality, because this is like more or less the early stages of your life, like when you're literally getting to know yourself, if that makes sense. And if you like look this, you can actually go do a Google search, okay? And you can literally look up these pinnacle cycles, and it's going to break down to you like what's the gist of each pinnacle cycle. So you can have a better understanding versus me just trying to tell you, by speaking to you. Because a lot of people, they still retain the information when they read it too. But each pinnacle cycle is literally telling you about your development. For instance, when pinnacle 1, when you have the number for the first pinnacle, chances are your youth is spent learning how to develop and use original ideas. And this is a time where you'll confront feelings of dependency and learn to extract yourself from dependent situations. You're learning how to stand on your own 2 feet and literally just separate yourself from other people, okay? Like, you're learning to be a leader. And for the second or the third pinnacle, at this point, it's like the number 1 is it literally groom you for a number 2 pinnacle cycle, for like the challenges you have with embracing leadership and developing, all that being an effective and inspirational leader entails you're being called upon to focus intently on these aspects as far as like courage, drive, vision, focus, like determination and integrity. You might experience a certain degree of aggressiveness in your demeanor at this time, or alternatively, you might be more submissive or uncertain about yourself and your abilities. Your ability to get ahead is limited only by your own initiative doing one pinnacle, which is the first pinnacle. And then the fourth pinnacle, a fourth pinnacle with a number 1 is marked by initiating and creative energy. Any thought of slowing down or retiring is most likely not the cards. Challenges and changes accompany this last stage of life. And your accomplishments can be deeply gratifying if you've mastered the art of leadership, direction, and expression of your own original ideas. It's unlikely that you'll magically be handed a golden opportunity for success. And if you are, take them and please run with them. This is a time that's really demanding and innovative. And usually you'll have to construct your own opportunities through like desires, focus, self-determination, and also the ability to take a punch, okay, and then get back up, shake it all off, and keep going. All right. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that already. You're probably already in your fourth pinnacle cycle or feeling like you're in your fourth pinnacle cycle. You might find yourself going at it alone or enjoy like an increased level of independence. If you're challenged with balancing your ego, this can be a lonely time. And I'm going to say from personal experience, me creating the one intuitive feeling, it came from me being punched and having to get back up on my own 2 feet and going through my experience to heal. Okay, heal myself, heal those around me, heal generational curses. And guess what? When you're doing things like this, you're usually doing it alone. Okay, you have you have Yah, the Most High. You have your spirit team. You have your guides. You have your angels. But you are literally going to have to go within. And this is when you start experiencing those things, like during the third and fourth pinnacle cycle, because the first and second is usually the training ground for that. And you learn like you are doing things without a cheerleader. You are doing things without people patting you on your back telling you it's a great job. Now you have taken what you learned from 1, 2, and 3 pinnacle cycles, right? Now you're taking what you learned from that when it came to being innovative, independent, being a leader, right? Tapping into your inner self, going within. Now you went through those lessons. You learned from those lessons. You're able to apply those lessons, right? And become not just a better person, but just the best part of you, okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with that. And if you want to know more about your pinnacle cycles and how to calculate that, you can do a simple Google search for pinnacle calculator. And there's a wealth of information that you can actually research. But honestly, I've been meaning to do this since I first started my Dhuwanna Intuitive Healing channel back in 2019. And I didn't do it. But then today, I put in my notes, I remember, oh, you know what? You're going to do pinnacle cycles. And then my daughter, she was like, yeah, she would appreciate it if I did pinnacle cycles. So I'm doing pinnacle cycles today. But I'll leave you guys with that. And may your blessings flow, overflow all the days of your life on your highest timeline for all souls involved. Blessings, 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 blessings to you. Ashe.